Okay, Finding Meaning in Caregiving, our fourth annual Caregiver Conference. All of you who are caregivers, please know that you have our respect and our gratitude, for we understand how hard and mostly thankless your job is. We hope that this conference gives you useful information about dementia, new insights on your role as caregivers, and new helpful resources to make your job easier. We have some very exciting speakers on the program who will discuss how you, the caregiver, can care for yourselves, plus tons of information on elder law, Medicare, on hospice, and you better stay till the end, treatment with medical marijuana. We want to thank all of our sponsoring exhibitors. Please go, stop by, say hello. If it wasn't for them and of course, AARP, this would not be possible. Please go and see them and thank them for being here and supporting you. We want to thank all of our sponsors whose tables are back here right on the sides. We will have a total of 4 breaks during the day, and I encourage you to stop by the tables to learn about the services and products they offer that might help you with your mission of caregiving. As always, they have provided some attractive door prizes, which will be giving out at each of the breaks, and you will want to stay till the end, for the grand prize will be drawn for after the final speaker has finished. It's a gift card worth $250. If you aren't here, you can't win, and also a Vinoy weekend for $150. Now let's recognize the sponsorship of AARP Florida by hearing from a member of AARP Florida's Executive Council. Her name is Amanda Singleton. She's an attorney and dedicated caregiver advocate. She is a graduate of the Caregiver Accelerator and recently received the National Caregiving Visionary Award. A graduate of the Stetson University College of Law and Florida State University. She also holds a certificate in gerontological studies. She's a member of the Florida Bar Speaker Bureau and frequently talks on estate and life care planning for families with young children, baby boomers, and the caregiver community. She has recently been featured in the Tampa Bay Business Journal, the Penny Hoarder, AARP Magazine, and more. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Amanda Singleton.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I am filling in today for a member of AARP's Executive Council, Monica Stinchula, who, if you know her, these are big shoes to fill. But I am so proud that I was asked to fill her shoes today because AARP is a leader in caregiving innovation, and its Caregiver Accelerator program changed my life. Does this come out? No? Okay. I like to walk. So, caregiving changed my life in every way possible. At the age of 30, when my mother was very suddenly diagnosed with brain tumors. On the day she had her MRI, within 2 hours, she was in surgery, and by that night, I knew that her diagnosis was very poor, and that was the moment that I became a caregiver. Identification of yourself as a caregiver doesn't frequently happen for people like that, but I resolved that for the days that she had remaining, I would do what I could to give her quality of life and the best care possible. She lived for 1 year and 3 days from that day. And in that time, her life, as she knew it, and my life, completely changed because she lost the ability to walk and talk and eat and do any activities of daily living. She required 24-hour-a-day care. I was an attorney at a big law firm. I traveled a lot for my job. My husband and I had just been married, and we had just purchased a house. And in the process of caregiving, I did not see my husband for a year. I lost my job, and I just had no idea what to do and where to turn. I had a gerontological degree, but that was all clinical. None of that had affected my life personally. And I felt isolated and like the conductor of a train that was completely running away. And so I resolved I'd like to open a law firm that would serve caregivers and become the kind of lawyer I need now. Someone who can identify where I need help and tell me where to go and what is available for me in our area and for my mom. And so I did. Since that time, I've been a caregiver multiple times through cancer, alcoholism, mental illness, and special needs. Caregiving has truly defined my life, and I could not be more blessed for that because it brought me here today. AARP's Caregiver Accelerator program exists because of caregivers like me and like many of you here in this room today, where through your experience with caregiving, you feel that there are gaps in what is available for you, that maybe you didn't plan for this in your life, and now you're scrambling to make ends meet and to keep life going for you and your loved ones. The Caregiver Accelerator program is for people who have an idea about how these things can change. And AARP test piloted this program in Tampa Bay as a model for nationwide to help caregivers grow those ideas into thriving businesses that can change what it is like for us as a nation of caregivers and what it is like for our policies for a nation of caregivers. Where's the presentation clicker? Is this it? Okay. So one of the primary laments of caregivers is that they are highly stressed and they are isolated and they feel like what is available to them is fragmented. We are trying to build an ecosystem that supports caregivers so that they know where to go and how to get what they need. Caregiving-centered businesses are a $279 billion industry, and 80% of that is paid for out of pocket by we, the caregivers. And so there is growth in this space. And the Caregiver Accelerator is a launching pad for that, for businesses that support this market. I ask that you bear with me because I'm going to reference my notes a fair amount as I'm giving Monica's presentation. So the mission of the Caregiver Accelerator is to work on advancements in caregiving, improve the ecosystem, and seed entrepreneurial opportunities to build local solutions to serve the local community. This is so important to us as residents of Pinellas County. We have an advancing age population. There are so many of us here on this peninsula. And simply put, there will not be enough caregivers for people requiring care within a few years. I'm sure that you will hear a lot of these statistics today. There is a care gap coming. Today, we have 44 million unpaid family caregivers in the United States. Within a few years, that number will be 45 million, and there will be 117 million people requiring care. So to do the math, that's not enough people. So this is where these businesses and these technologies are going to bridge the gap because we are going to need help. So the Caregiver Accelerator program is a model, and many companies and collaborators came in to help create this phenomenal program, which I just cannot speak enough about, and I'll tell more about my story with the Caregiver Accelerator if there's time later. So of these companies, AARP, of course, is driving this. Locally, the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay served as an alliance member to get this program started. Two programs that I love as a small business owner in our area and cannot say enough good things about: the St. Petersburg Greenhouse, which helps business owners or want to be business owners seed their business, make plans for it, connect with the community. You can get coaching and ideas about how to fund and make your business grow. 1 million cups, which if you have a Wednesday morning and you need an activity to do, at the St. Petersburg Greenhouse, every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., 1 million cups happens. And this happens in 167 communities across the United States. And it's where people with ideas go. And they present their ideas over cups of coffee to a room much like this one. And they say, this is what I think this community needs, and this is my business idea. The audience gets to ask questions and offer insight. At the very end, the last question is, what can the 1 Million Cups community do for you? I've presented my businesses at 1 Million Cups, and what I gained from it was phenomenal. I gained connections, met other people who are in the caregiving industry, made clients from it, and also friends. So all of the participants in the Caregiver Accelerator presented at 1 Million Cups for that opportunity. We were trained through the Wendy Kennedy Institute, which is an incubator, and normally it is used for technology, but it applied so well across all of the businesses that took part in the Caregiver Accelerator. And we also took part in the Entrepreneurial Mindset, which is a leadership coaching developed at Eckerd College. So much of this, including Encore Tampa Bay, which helps people in a second career find meaning and another life in their advancing years. So many of these companies and collaborators were local, and to bring them together to support the Caregiver Accelerator really launched so much for so many of us. Part of assembling the Caregiver Accelerator team, Monica Stinchula, who, big shoes I'm filling today, AARP wanted people who were in the caregiver space. A lot of the people you see up here on this slide have been or are caregivers, but they also work in this industry because they are passionate about it. The program manager for this has a technology background, was able to work with the innovation, but also she has been a multi-time family caregiver. The social media AARP writer, family caregiver, writes 100% about caregiving for 11 years of her life for AARP. A solid event planner to help us put on these events. Staff members from within AARP who believe in this mission and can drive this. And Wendy Kennedy certified coaches, all of whom also are family caregivers. Caregiving innovations are so important because many of us see where life could be easier and the things that are being difficult in our day-to-day lives as care partners and as caregivers. There's a universal need for help because all of us will be cared for or care for someone else some point in our life. Because you are here today, I know this affects your life. It's a growing opportunity. Caregiving has been called the next national health crisis, and I truly believe that because of the care gap, because of my experiences, and knowing that this could be done better. There are things we have not even thought about. In my studies 20 years ago, we didn't anticipate an opioid crisis, and now there are 64,000 deaths per year from the opioid epidemic, which has surpassed deaths from auto accidents. And there is a nation of caregivers trying to take care of a loved one with an addiction. We could not have anticipated that, and yet here it is. One thing that I liked that I heard at a caregiving conference a few years ago is that caregiving is the new cancer. In the past, people did not talk about their cancer diagnoses. They handled them privately, and they made it a family matter. Over time, it became something that people did talk about, and they found support and camaraderie in that. Similarly, people did not identify as caregivers or talk about caregiving. They thought, I can do this alone, we take care of our own, and we did not express that it was a struggle or difficult. It is an honorable burden, and we bear it. And yet, in the last 20 or so years, there's been this uprising that caregivers communicate and support each other and come up with ideas that this can be done better. And so the opportunity is there, and it is growing. The way that we are going to meet the gap is through technology and advances in innovation. I liked this statistic I read recently, which was that 67% of caregivers want to use technology to help them, but only about 10% do. Part of the problem with that is that it's either expensive, it's hard to find, or it's hard to understand. And that's where our needs need to be met. I can say in the 8 years since I cared for my mother, there are so many things that exist now that I wish we had had so that we could communicate better. Just little things like nobody used a smartphone when I was caring for my mother. So she had no voice, but she also had this tiny little phone that she couldn't text message on because she had bifocals, so she couldn't see the screen. And she couldn't press the buttons with her fingers to text. So if she wanted to communicate with me, it had to be in person. And life would have been easier without that. And now there are a variety of apps and Alexa and Google Home, just so many things that would have made communication easier and life easier. So it's on its way. The technology is growing, and the Caregiver Accelerator supports that. A little bit of details about the program, and I am going to read these somewhat. It was 18 hours spread over 6 to 9 weeks. So 1 day a week, the people who participated in the Caregiver Accelerator would meet with other founders, other people who have ideas, and 2 coaches. We had homework, and we would take that homework home, do it, and then present on a big whiteboard once a week. Here's what I think that I need to do. Here are my next steps for my business. Here's what I think distinguishes me from somebody else who has a similar idea. And we would critique each other, and the coaches would help us hone those ideas. It was rigorous and intense, but when I started the Caregiver Accelerator, I did not have a law firm. When I finished the Caregiver Accelerator, I had an established law firm. And so I cannot say enough good things about it. It gave me exactly the boost that I needed. It prepared me for my advocacy work. I advocate for paid leave for family caregivers. I want to keep caregivers working, and that is one of my biggest passions. And it got me prepared to do that, and got me into the place where I could make change, and it was wonderful. As I said, I presented at 1 Million Cups. The Caregiver Accelerator had a pitch competition where 6 of the businesses got up on a stage much like this one, and they presented their ideas. And a panel of really distinguished judges in the caregiver space selected a winner. And the winner that year was so technologically advanced, I don't think I'll do her justice, but her name was Heidi Culbertson, and she developed basically an app for the Alexa machine for her mother, who had macular degeneration and gone completely blind, but lived at home in Boston, and Heidi lived here. And through this app, she could talk to her mom, and all of her 8 siblings could talk to her mom at once, and her mom could say, when Joan comes, can she pick up milk? And yes, and what's going on with the grandkids? And this one little app would do all of this for all of them, and everyone could talk and be on the same page, and it was wonderful, and they knew that mom was okay. And I can't think of a better, thing for the space for the long-distance caregiver. So 2 winners of that, and Heidi was phenomenal. What I gained a focused plan, I gained networking, I gained confidence to start this business and move into this space. The week that I opened my law firm and the week that the Caregiver Accelerator program finalized, my father-in-law was diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer. And I once again found myself in a caregiving position. And without the accelerator, I may not have had the strength to keep it going and the support and the mentorship to press on. A little bit more about the companies who are local who are in this space and innovating for the caregiver market. As I said, it's a $279 billion industry, and of that, it essentially comprises 6 needs that caregivers and care partners have. And they're health and safety, daily essential activities, caregiver quality of life, transition support, social well-being, and care coordination. So they're not just needs, but they're business opportunities for people who are in the caregiver market. Health and safety makes up $207 billion of the market, and it is the space that I think we all as caregivers need the most help, because our loved ones' welfare, health, and safety are the most important things. When we cannot be with them, we want to know that they are safe. And so, areas like health alerts, medical management, safety monitoring, and nutrition, these are all rapidly evolving. We just have to be able to have affordable solutions that are easy to use and easy to find. Because when you are caregiving, you may not have a lot of time to seek out these resources. They need to find you. And that's where the ecosystem comes into play, that these are available and informative for you. Local examples of health and safety apps. Marvi, that's the app that I was talking about that allows families to communicate over the Alexa for long-distance caregiving. And Need, which is home delivery of pharmaceuticals and medications. Medication call reminder. I'm sure many caregivers in here have the big box of medicine on the table or on the kitchen counter, and as a caregiver, medication management can be one of the most nerve-wracking things for me. One of the best gifts I ever received was when hospice came into my life and said, "We will take over medication management for you." Oh, thank goodness. Medication call reminder calls people and reminds them to take their medication. Imagine that. The name is so descriptive. And it lets family know that the medication has been taken. And that is phenomenal, because if people are missing doses, they could have contraindications with medicine if they take it the wrong way. So this is a huge part of safety. Daily essential activities. Monica Stinchula is the CEO of Reunion Care, which is similar to Marvi in that it is a platform that allows medical providers, caregivers, and patients to all see the same information. How much would that be helpful? In my experience with chronic and catastrophic illnesses, you could have 6 different medical providers. You could have 6 different doctors, and they don't talk to each other. And the caregiver is the one who brings the records from place to place, and you get the scan ordered and you go somewhere else. And it can be maddening to have everyone be able to see what everyone else is doing. Could truly save lives. And Reunion Care provides that. Caregiver quality of life. This goes so far beyond self-care, We hear as caregivers, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. Yes, but how it's beyond taking a bubble bath and getting chocolate for yourself. It is making sure you have the pieces in place so that you can live your life too, so that you can maintain your job, so that you can get some respite care. Maria's service provides so much. I want to call out local businesses who are here today too, not just the ones that are in the Caregiver Accelerator, because what respite care provides for a caregiver is a little bit of time to get everything done, to have the day to themselves, to plan for tomorrow, and to be better. Is caregiver quality of life, Caregiver Accelerator participants, Design 2030. Bob Karnick invented a machine. He was an engineer, and he invented a machine that allows people who are a little bit limited in mobility to still work out and keep their muscles strong, to stand up and sit down on their own out of bed. And I have to say, I would have loved that a few times in my life, particularly when my mom was relearning how to walk. I would have loved that in my life. Memento allows families to tell each other. It's a little bit like StoryCorps, where people can interview their loved ones and say, what was your life like? what was the most important thing you did in your life? And to have that, it provides a legacy, and you tell your story. And sometimes people move on and generations move on and we don't know them. And to be able to have that is phenomenal. Transition support. This is a huge part of planning, and if you haven't planned to care, then this is going to be a huge part of your caregiving experience. Transition support is your legal needs. There's an attorney who's coming up, I think, after me, who's going to talk about legal challenges for caregivers. My firm does this every day as well. Beyond that, financial planning, long-term care planning, and hospice and funeral planning. These aren't the, most exciting things, but they are necessary and they are important. And if you don't plan for it, don't wait, because there's a lot that can be done to help you in your caregiving journey, legally and financially, and you're not alone. Transition support also means home retrofit services. 90% of us want to age in place. That means we want to stay home for the entirety of our lives. However, 70% of people over the age of 70 at some point are going to be in a facility of some kind. And it's nice to think that won't be us, but the numbers are against that. And so let's talk about it and let's plan for it. But if we can keep our homes safe and secure and accessible for us, then maybe that dream can be a reality a little longer. Access and Design was founded by a baby boomer, Arlene Grosso, and she and her daughter became certified in making home changes for the caregiver space. And so they can come in and do guardrails and ramps and all of that and be a one-stop shop for people who have to make or plan for those kinds of modifications. Social well-being. Social well-being is important for all of us. Everybody deserves dignity and independence to the extent possible, and companies and caregivers that recognize that have my heart and support forever. Creative Clay is in St. Petersburg, and that is an arts center for veterans, for children, for people with developmental disabilities, and even people who are residing in some of the homeless shelters there who just need an arts outlet that provides creativity and excitement. And I love what they do. The Banyan Odyssey is a safe environment living space for people with developmental disabilities. Artistas Cafe provides job training for people on the autism spectrum. 92% of adults with special needs are unemployed. And that number is, to me, unacceptable. And Artistas is a company that changes that. They provide occupational training and employment to people on the spectrum. They have a coffee shop. So if you ever want to check them out, they are in Tampa. And care coordination. This is a big part of my caregiver experience and something that I am passionate about as well. When you are the caregiver, it feels like you are wearing every hat possible, and getting organized and getting your plan in order is tough. It really is. And keeping everyone and all of the balls in the air doing what it's all supposed to do. A Better Life, one of the Caregiver Accelerator participants, Bonnie Brown, also a lifetime caregiver and with many health stumbling blocks of her own. And she founded this company, A Better Life, because she believes that you can have one as a caregiver and as a patient. One of the things she provides is a big organizer bag that has everything you need in one place. It tells you how to get organized. Instead of figuring it out for yourself, it shows you how, and it's invaluable. So all of these businesses, all of these needs are driven to the fact that we want well-designed support. We want it to be affordable. We want it to be easy to use. And part of the Caregiver Accelerator program teaches us, as these companies, how to make that a reality. The results of the Caregiver Accelerator, the first program in Tampa Bay, was that it started with 35 companies, and to this day, 24 are still active, which is a great number. You know, most businesses, if they're going to go sideways, usually do it within the first year. So we're here. And part and parcel of that is because of the support of this general collaborative of caregiver-centered businesses. One thing I love about this is out of the 35 of us, 17 became AARP volunteers because we believe in AARP's mission to serve caregivers, and not just caregivers in the retired person space, but caregivers across the lifespan, because it knows no age and it knows no condition. It is about all of us. There have been 2 pitch competitions now and 2 caregiver conferences similar to this one today. And it moved into other communities. Jacksonville and Orlando have had their own caregiver accelerators now. And so now there is a broader Florida network of people like us, businesses like us, that want to make change. In addition, the Caregiver Accelerator program is doing virtual programming, which is wonderful. The fact that you all are here today is a miracle to me. At some point in my caregiving experiences, I would not have been able to, there would be no respite, there would be no time to learn even, to come to a caregiver conference. Virtual programming, it helps those of us who have mobility issues or just issues of time. So look forward to that. Oh, ask our alumni. There are such nice quotes on this slide. So Arlene, who I just spoke about, who does home retrofitting, she says, the best part about this is that you interact with absolutely amazing people and who are truly interested in your success and growth. And I believe that to be true, too. I am so grateful to the Caregiver Accelerator for what it did for me. How am I doing on time? Oh, doing all right. Okay, 10 minutes. Okay. The social media for the Caregiver Accelerator, if you'd like to know more about it, you can find it online at caregiveraccelerator.com. If you're on social media, on Twitter or Facebook, you can find it at the Caregiver Accelerator Florida. And on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/company/Tampa Bay Caregiver Accelerator. If you'd like to find me and know more about my work and what I do, my name is Amanda Singleton. I am on social media as the Caregiver Lawyer. My law firm can be found online at www.singletonlegal.com. If you'd like to know more about caregiving innovation and the growing business space, maybe you have an idea of your own and you want to pursue it, I would recommend that you read the AARP Caregiving Innovation Frontier Report and the Catalyst Report. In addition to that, if you need resources and information on caregiving, AARP is an endless well, it feels like, of incredible content. Today, I would encourage you to stop by their table and take a Prepare to Care guide. They did not ask me to bring this up here. I just love this. I give this to my clients. It goes through all of the steps that you need to take to plan, to prepare, to care, to talk to your loved ones, and sort of the areas that you need to think about to really successfully build a caregiving network for yourself and make it all work. As I said, Caregiver Accelerator participants become AARP volunteers, and in that way, our network expands, our hands-on help expands to our community. It breaks down the barriers, it breaks down isolation. Let me read the quotes here. John Webb, who's a Caregiver Accelerator graduate, cared for his mother, long distance. He said, I enjoyed sharing ideas and connecting with like-minded entrepreneurs. It was very helpful for me to fine-tune my concept with structure and a plan for implementation. I welcome the opportunity to continue to learn from other entrepreneurs and explore the possibilities. And I would agree with that. All of this is a learning process, and we learn from each other every day. And knowing these people and participating in this program and volunteering has only made me a better business owner and a better caregiver. Oh, that's the quote that Arlene said. I think I already called it out, but yes. There are people who are interested in your success and growth and supportive of you as a caregiver because we have all been here before. So as I said, caregiving innovation is a huge market in the United States right now. The call for help has been heard, and it is coming, and it is driven by caregivers like you and me with the support of phenomenal organizations like AARP and the Caregiver Action Network and caregiving.com. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. It's Amanda Singleton at it's Amanda at singletonlegal.com. And I left some cards on the AARP table if you have any questions as well. And here's the Caregiver Accelerator information again. And I thank you for your time. I'll be here for a couple more hours, so please come by and say hello. I'd love to meet you and hear your stories. Thank you.
We wanted to have time for questions from the audience if you have a few more minutes.
I do. I may refer you to Monica Stinchula if you have questions about the finer points of this program, though.
Any questions from the audience? For Amanda, here's one.
Good morning. Where are you located, the office?
I'm in St. Petersburg.
Oh, okay.
Use the mic, please, Amanda.
I like to walk. I'm in St. Petersburg, but my firm serves Tampa Bay and across Florida.
So they reach you through online message?
I can be reached online. My firm phone number is 727-458-1648 and www.singletonlegal.com. We have an online form you can fill out and tell us about what your caregiver needs are and if we can be of assistance.
For her.
What was that number again?
727-458-1648.
It's up here.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Here's one.
Do I get two? Does your firm deal with trusts?
Yes.
That's it for now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Well, thank you, Amanda, for those insights in creating a family caregiving ecosystem. I think we can all identify with that word. Ecosystem means a whole environment in which you can work and live and succeed. So seems like a very helpful tool, and I hope you'll, if you are inclined, to reach out to AARP.